Welcome to Discover Your Purpose class number 3. Excited to continue moving on in your journey to discover your God-given purpose so that you can go on and excel and fulfill that purpose in your life. Today, we're going to be talking about your personality. I'm hoping that you went in and you took the personality assessment at 16personalities.com. If you didn't do that, stop the video right now. Go and do that before you finish out this video or start this video again, because this is what we're going to be talking about today. It's going to make a lot more sense if you've gone through the assessment, you've gotten your report by email, you've looked at your report, and you've got a good understanding of what your personality type is, because it is a big piece in your purpose puzzle. And this is something that I've done for years. I've done a number of different personality assessments through the years, and it has helped me so much in every aspect of life. But in particular, it's really helped me to understand and work within my purpose so that I can fulfill it. And that's what I want for you as well. So I want to tell you my personality story. Back about 20 years ago, actually it was more than 20 years ago now, maybe 25 years ago, my wife Karen and I went to a conference. It was actually a writers' conference, and it was a Christian writers' conference, and there was a mother-daughter who were teaching it. And during the conference, they had us take this personality assessment. And at the time, I had only been saved maybe a couple of years. Karen had been saved, I think, 4 years. So we were really new with all of this. We have a blended family of 5 children. Karen had been married before, I had been married before. And so, we brought a lot of baggage into our marriage, including this blended family of 5 children. And we were struggling. We were having a difficult time, and difficult time in really every aspect of life. And we took this personality assessment, and the light bulb went on. It was like both of us just suddenly understood why we were having struggles in our marriage and why we were having struggles with the kids, because we were different personalities. And through this assessment and really studying our personalities, we gained this understanding of how to communicate with each other, how to interact with each other, how we would react in high stress situations. And it was so interesting because our personalities weren't exactly opposite, but they were opposite enough. So for instance, when we would go into a high stress situation, Karen would want to withdraw, and I would want to pursue and work it out. And obviously that wasn't working very well. And so we learned that when we get in these high stress situations, that we just need to agree to have a kind of a timeout where Karen can go off on her own, and then I'll do the same thing. And then we, at a certain point in time, we come back together again so that we can work it out. That way it was satisfying both of our personalities. We discovered a lot of things about our kids, and how different. In fact, I was the only one of the personality of the 7 of us, and all the rest there were several that were the same, but all the rest were different than me. And so I really had to learn how to communicate in their personality, not in my own personality. And it radically changed our family. And so I've become a huge advocate of this. Now, I also brought this into business, because when you are working with other people in business and ministry, this is a great way to understand the people that you're working with and be able to communicate effectively with them as well. So I brought this into my business world. I brought this in to our churches when we planted our churches, and we continue to do this even today. I encourage people to go and take different personality assessments and to do them every year, because life changes. I'm in a different season now in my life at 67 than I was when I was 40. And so really even more than I was just a couple of years ago when I was still working a job, and then retired actually last year in March. And so my life changed again. And so your personality will change a little bit according to what's going on in your life. And that's a good thing. Now, keeping in mind also that there are no good or bad personalities. There's no like number one personality that everybody wants to be. This is the way God has made you. And so how God has made you is so important that we understand. So we understand how that fits into our discovering our purpose. And God made you this way from the beginning of time, and you may alter a little bit in your personality. I usually alter a little bit in my secondary personality. So you'll have one kind of primary personality and you'll have maybe a secondary personality, but you're going to operate primarily in that first personality. So we want to run through and talk about these different personalities, so you have a better understanding of not only your personality, but the others in your life. And it's so important as you begin to recognize these different personalities. Look at the people in your life. Look at your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your parents, your children, the people you work with, the people you go to church with, your friends. And as you figure out their personality, then you're, again, going to have a better understanding of how to communicate with them, how to interact with them. So we have 4 categories. The first is the analysts, and these are the architect, the logician, the commander, and the debater. And we're going to go into each one of these and give an introduction of each one as we go along, but we'll hit these categories first, and then we'll go through each of the personality types individually. So the first one is the architect. And when I looked up the introduction to the architect, it said it can be lonely at the top. This is one of the rarest personalities and one of the most capable. These are people that and they understand that. They understand that, how capable they are. They're quick-witted. They pride themselves in the ability to think for themselves, to be original thinkers. And they have this uncanny knack for seeing right through phoniness. So when you're around an architect, you want to be real. You want to be true. You want to be authentic. And the architects are thinkers. They're people whose minds are never at rest. And they're going to struggle with people who are not serious, who are not thinkers, who are trying to have too much fun, and people who are not in step with them. And so it's really important, if you have architects in your life, it's really important to understand this personality and understand how you need to be serious with them, focused with them, and be in step with them. The next is the logician. And the logicians pride themselves in their unique perspectives and their vigorous intellect. So these are intellects. These are the really smart people out there. And they're the ones that are constantly trying to solve all the mysteries in the universe. And, there's some of them, they'll become philosophers, they'll become scientists, and this personality is another one that's fairly rare, and so you're not going to see a lot of these, but you do see them when you're looking at the famous scientists. A lot of them were logicians, and because of the way their mind works, They're very inventive. They're very creative, but they just have this drive to figure out mysteries, and they're really good at it. They're also not afraid to stand out from the crowd. They're not afraid to be different. They're not afraid to be unique. So when you're communicating with the logician, you just have to understand the uniqueness of their mind, and again, kind of get in step with their thinking. Try to put yourself in their place and think the way they think. Be serious. Logicians are typically serious people. They they can be witty at times, but they tend to be more on the serious side of things. Then we have the commanders, and these are the natural born leaders. They're the people that have charisma. You see a lot of CEOs of companies, a lot of your high political people tend to be commanders. They're very confident. They project authority. When you walk into a room, you can pretty quickly recognize the commander. They're also they have a tendency to be ruthless, and so they're more in it for themselves. They have drive, they have determination, they have sharp minds, and again, like the first two, there's a small percentage of commanders. It's estimated about 3% of the population would fall into this personality type. And they have the tendency to overwhelm more timid or sensitive or shy personality types, which we'll talk about as we go along. But this is the kind of person you want leading your business, very often leading a large ministry, leading our country, leading countries, leading big events and things like that, because they just have the natural ability to lead people and get things done. And the last one in this category, the analyst, is the debater. And this person is the quick-witted one. This is the audacious, loud, person that you definitely don't want to, get into an argument with this person, because they're going to win. They're going to win. They love verbal sparring. They love taking things into controversial areas. The more controversial, the better. And so, unless you're another debater, you probably don't, want to get into a debate with this person, because most likely you're going to lose. And they're certainly not afraid to disagree with you. And in fact, most of the time they probably will. And so this is where it's important for you to listen to them and understand what they're trying to say, ask questions to better understand, mirror back to them the things that they're saying and things that they're doing, not in a bad way, but in a good way, so that they see that you are truly listening to them and trying to understand them. All right, let's move on to the next category, which is the diplomats, the advocate, the mediator, the protagonist, and the campaigner. So the advocate may be the rarest personality type of all. Even more than the early ones that we talked about. They are certain to leave their mark in the world. They are going to be people that are remembered. They're idealistic, they're principled, they're not content with life as usual. They want to go beyond, above and beyond. And for this personality, success doesn't come from money, and it doesn't come from status. It comes from fulfillment, from helping others. the word is so appropriate. Excuse me. They want to be advocates for other people. And so you find some of your attorneys are advocates, not all of them, but some of them are. Your judges, Supreme Court judges, people like that, a lot of times are advocates. But you'll also find the advocates in the social world as well, where people are working for groups of people, whether that's the homeless or the hungry or starving children or something like that. And so, they are working to be a force for good in the world. All right, let's now, in terms of communicating with the advocates, because these are they're very sensitive people, and so we need to be very sensitive with them. We don't want to come in and boss them around. We don't want to come in and demand that they do things, and we want to make sure that we're really appreciating the good that they're doing in the world. And so if you've got advocates in your life, it's probably a really good thing, because they will be advocates for you as well. The next one is the mediator. Now, these people, they tend to be the quiet, kind of unassuming people, people that may not seem to have very much passion outwardly, but they have very vibrant, passionate inner lives. These are creative people. They're very imaginative. They're daydreamers and dreamers. A lot of your writers are mediators. Your actors and sometimes are mediators. Counselors and people that really need to be sensitive to other people could be a mediator, could be an advocate as well. But you'll see mediators involved in music and art and nature, and they respond emotionally to things that are very creative. And we'll get into another creative type later on that sometimes it's a little hard to tell which one is which, but we'll talk about that at that point in time. But I think you'll recognize the mediator most by their sensitivity. And their sensitivity to the things that are going on in the world, but also their sensitivity to you and what's going on in your life. And so to interact with the mediator, again, don't take them for granted. Recognize that they are very passionate on the inner side. They may not be outwardly very passionate, but they are very passionate in their inner selves. And so, have creative conversations with them and just be very sensitive around them. Next is the protagonist. And these people are, these are your purpose people, really. I mean, these are the ones that probably know their purpose very early in life. They're thoughtful, they're idealistic, they strive to have a positive impact on the world around them and the people around them. They rarely shy away from an opportunity to do the right thing. And they're going to do the right thing, even if it's not something that's easy, even if it's something that's very difficult. And so when I'm a writer, and if you're a creative writer, my books so far have all been nonfiction, but I have written some fiction. Actually, I have one fiction book. I take that back, and I have another one that I just haven't published yet. And so in the book, you always have a protagonist. That's kind of your main character that you're tracking with that that character. So, when you see a movie and you have a main character, that is the protagonist. And so, interacting with the protagonist is usually pretty easy because these are people who communicate very, very well, and they are striving to have a positive impact on you and your life. And so you want to reciprocate and do whatever you can to help them accomplish what they want to accomplish in life. Next is the campaigner. And the campaigners they're the free spirits. They're very outgoing, they're open-hearted, they're open-minded. They have a lively, upbeat approach to life. Unlike our last personality type, where they're very quiet and unassuming, the campaigners are very outward. It's easy to recognize the campaigner because they're the life of the party. When you walk into a party and you find the person that's got a crowd around them and they're talking loud and they're laughing and people are laughing with them, that's the campaigner. And the campaigners, they love to have a good time, but that's not all they're all about. It's not just all about having a good time. This is a personality that is also very deep, and this personality longs for a meaningful and emotional connection with people. And so when you're communicating with a campaigner, keep that in mind, that they want to have deep, meaningful conversations with you. They want to connect with you emotionally. And so you're going to have to open yourself up to them in order for them to be able to connect. Our third category are the sentinels, the logistician, the defender, the executive, and the consul. There we go, the logistician, easy for you to say. So logisticians these are people that pride themselves in their integrity. And so these are people you can really depend upon because they are always going to operate at the highest level of integrity. And it's a personality type that when they tell you something or they tell you they're going to do something, you can believe them and you can know that what they say they're going to do, they're going to do that. You can rely on that. This personality type is a type of personality you find in a large portion of the population. So there are a lot of logisticians out there. Now, these are people that, you're not going to recognize them right away, like, some previous personalities. They're not flashy. They're not seeking attention. They're more behind the scenes. They're going to work within the things that are going on to create a stable foundation in the life around them, in their families and in their communities. They tend to earn respect for their reliability, for their practicality. They're able to stay grounded and logical, even in really high stress situations. These are going to be people that are calm. And so if you are putting together a team in a high stress, maybe a tight timeline type of situation, logisticians are great people to have on your team because they're going to stay calm. They're going to operate at the highest level of integrity, and they want to create a stable foundation. Now you want to have some other personality types in there as well that are maybe going to move a little bit quicker and get things done quicker, that can work along with the logisticians. Next is the defender. These are unassuming people, again, kind of tend to be behind the scenes more. They're very understated. And these are people that they're integral parts of our society, and they make the world go round. They're hardworking, they're devoted people. They feel a sense of responsibility to those around them. Defenders can always be counted on to meet those tight deadlines. They're going to remember special events. They're going to remember birthdays, anniversaries, even special occasions that most people aren't going to remember. These are people who uphold traditions in life, and they tend to shower their friends and their family, their loved ones, with gestures of care and support. But they're not going to demand recognition in any way. In fact, a lot of times they really don't want recognition. They would prefer to kind of operate behind the scenes. We see here a portrayal of a nurse, and nurses. Many of the nurses are defenders. They're people that, you know, the doctors are right out front, the surgeons are right out front, but the nurses are so critical to the work that's being done in a hospital or a clinic, and yet they're kind of behind the scenes. And so, you know, when you're communicating with a defender, keep in mind that these are sensitive people, and that just because they're kind of behind the scenes doesn't mean that they're not having an important impact out there. And so command them for the little things that they do, because those are really important to making sure that the big things happen. And you can, you know, go beyond your personality type to remember the important occasions in their life. Remember their birthday. That will mean so much to them, or their anniversary, or, you know, when they started their job, or something along that lines. How, you know, their kids and how old their kids are, and these are really important things to them, and it shows that you really care and love them. And then there's the executive. The executive really represents the tradition and order in our society. Our lawmakers, they really have a solid understanding of what is right and wrong and what is socially accepted, and they want to make sure that that's what is happening in our society. They have the tendency to embrace values of honesty, dedication, and dignity. They are highly valued for their advice. So these are the kind of people you want to go to and get advice or get guidance. So a lot of your counselors will be executives. Some of your consultants, and, you know, particularly high-level consultants, are going to be executives a lot of times. And you know, they will help you be able to see the things you can't see, and kind of happily lead the way in difficult paths. They are also connectors. They take pride in connecting people, bringing people together. They will often be community organizers, and you know, bringing different groups together for the good of the community. They celebrate community and all that's going on in the community, and in the community they're going to defend the traditional values for the community and for the family. And then we have the consul. For consuls, they love to share life with other people. So you know, these are the people that really need to be around other people. Their life is really good when they are living it with other people. And this is another personality that's really a bedrock in our communities. They are the people that have a real gift of hospitality. They love opening their homes to people. They have lots of friends. They know all their neighbors, and they have a tendency to just like everybody, that, you know, that everybody is a friend that they just haven't met yet, or they haven't interacted with. And it you know, it doesn't mean that that they aren't going to have people that they don't like and that they don't get along with, and or that they're perfect in any way, but they're certainly going to do everything they can within the power of their personality to get to know you, to understand you, and get to the point where you are friends. They believe in the power of hospitality and good manners. They tend to have a sense of duty to their family, their friends, the people around them. They're very generous. They're very reliable, and they sometimes will take on too much. They'll because they do want to please people, they'll take on too much and cause themselves a lot of stress. So, if you've got someone you're close to as a consul, continue to remind them, to take it easy and, not take on too much. But they are the people that are going to hold together families and hold together communities. All right, the final category, our explorers, the virtuoso, the adventurer, the entrepreneur, and the entertainer. So the virtuoso. Virtuosos are people who love doing things with their hands. These are the craftsmen. These are the woodworkers, the plumbers, the sculptors. People that really love exploring things with their hands, with their eyes. They live in the world by touching. They and they're very curious people. So they like to know what makes things work, what makes things tick. They are natural makers. So these are people who love to build things. This is not me. I am not a builder. And they tend to move from project to project. They're pretty easy to recognize. I've got a number of people in my life that just move from project to project. They're talking about the different projects that they're doing. And they love it. This is how they have fun in life, by doing these projects. So again, you'll find your mechanics very often, your engineers are virtuosos. And a lot of your people that are contractors that build homes or build commercial buildings, they don't mind getting their hands dirty. They don't mind getting in the middle of things. They're never too good for a small task. And if you're wanting to build something, this is the person you want to have around. And this is the person, if you're trying to build something, it's a great person to ask questions, because if they don't know, they'll be able to find out really quickly. Next is the adventurer, and these are the true artists. And we talked about a personality earlier where they tend to be very creative, but these tend to be your true artists. These are their painters. These are very often your sculptors, your people that are creating things out of metal, or they are the potters, and people that just sometimes your musicians are adventurers. They're creating through their music, but they love to create, and so the majority of the time is going to be in creation. If they have a different kind of job, they're going to find ways that they can be creative within those jobs. But it's pretty easy, again, to recognize the adventurer, because they reflect in their life their uniqueness as an adventurer. Next is the entrepreneur. And it's interesting because this doesn't necessarily mean that every entrepreneur out there falls into this category, because I've been an entrepreneur for years, but this is not my personality. And so it is. I think it's really important to understand that if you're an entrepreneur or you want to be an entrepreneur and you're not this personality, that doesn't mean you can't be one. But the people who have this particular personality are always going to have an impact on the people and the things around them. They are easy to spot also in a party, because they tend to be the people that are, they're not the ones standing with the big crowd around them. This is the person that's moving around from group to group. So they're interacting with everyone. Their goal is to connect with everybody. But they will also, be the person that, is laughing and entertaining at times. They tend to have very blunt and kind of earthly humor, and they do love to be the center of attention. So even though they're not going to be the one that's there attracting the crowd, they're going to be moving from crowd to crowd, and every time they move, they want to be the center of attention of that particular crowd. And a lot of your public speakers are going to be entrepreneurs, because they love the attention of being up on stage and being in front. So they this is the person who is going to step out, and they will volunteer very often in their community, but they will also bring along their more shy friends or family members with them, and they'll usually bring a crowd there. So if you've got entrepreneurs in your life, just understand their sense of humor, understand that they kind of need to keep moving. So if they kind of flit into your life and back out of your life, that that's okay. That's just who they are. Let them be the center of attention. In fact, if you can focus the attention on them, they're going to feel even better about that. And come alongside them, when they've got a cause or something they're going to move forward on. Very often these people are the people that go on and achieve really big things in life, and so it's good to tag along with them. And then we have the entertainer. And this is the person that in the party they're going to break out the guitar and start singing a song. They may just as at work, they may be humming, they might be singing, they might get up and dance a little bit. This is a personality that tends to get caught up in the excitement of the moment, and they want everyone else to feel the same way. They want you to come along with them and get excited about what's happening. The entertainer is very generous with their time, generous with their energy, and they're encouragers. They love to encourage other people, and there's really no other personality out there that is as irresistible as the entertainer. You're going to be attracted to the entertainer, and you're going to have fun. You're going to enjoy being around them. So those are our personalities, the personality type. And again, take a look at your personality. That your personality comes from God. Like I said before, there are no good or bad personalities, and understanding your personality is a powerful piece of the purpose puzzle. Remembering that, each time we put a piece into your puzzle, like a jigsaw puzzle, you're getting a more clear picture of what your purpose looks like. So what did you hear from God during this, or while you were doing your assessment? Pause the video for a moment and write in your notes or in your journal what you're hearing from God about your personality and how it fits into your purpose, or how you think it fits into your purpose, so that you've got a record of that right now. So pause the video right now and do this. If maybe you did it already, but if you haven't done it, then do it right now and then come back. Well, welcome back. So your experiences that we talked about in class number 2, your life experiences, plus your personality, as we add those two together, you are now one step closer to truly understanding and operating in your purpose. In the next class, we're going to go into your talents, your gifts, and your strengths. And so we've got we've got 2 more assessments that we need you to do. The first one is at giftstest.com, and this will uncover your spiritual gifts. And then highfivetest.com, this will uncover your strengths. So make sure you do these. Make sure you do these before you go to the next class. And that way you'll be ready. You'll have a good understanding, and then we'll teach more on the gifts, on the talents, and on the strengths. So in summary, God has created every one of us with a personality, and we're all different. Even the people who have the same personality, they're all different. We're all unique. And so, we may have different personalities, but we're unique within that. One of the things that my wife and I used to do is we used to do a marriage conference, and we would have everybody there, the couples, all take a personality assessment, and then we would break. In this particular one, there were 4 different personalities, and we would break them out into groups according to personalities. So you were in a group with the same type of people, the same personality. And then we would give them a big bag of all kinds of things like popsicle sticks and glue and pipe cleaners and little foam pieces and glitter and pens and things like that. And we told them, that they had 10 minutes to build a house, and that the first thing they were supposed to do was to elect a leader and then build this house. And it was the funniest thing to see. And the reason we did it is because we had so many couples that were coming to us in conflict, and they were saying, if my spouse was just more like me, things would be better. And so this gave the spouses a chance to see that it's not all that easy when you're working with the same personality. And we just need to learn how to be able to work with the other personalities. So that's what you want to be able to do, is not only use your personality and understand your personality to uncover and discover your purpose and begin to operate in it, but also utilize it as you're communicating with the people around you, because that is going to contribute to you fulfilling your purpose in life as well. Well, thanks for watching this class number 3. Again, you're always welcome to email me at rod@truedisciple.info if you've got questions, and visit our website at truedisciple.info. Check out all the resources that are there. Make sure you go and you do the 2 assessments ahead of time before you launch into the next class. Class number 4, you're doing great. Keep going, and you're going to get there. If you're still not sure what your purpose is, that's okay. You're getting there. You're putting those pieces of the puzzle into place. And so just keep moving forward. And I look forward to seeing you in the next class.